This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. When you visit the doctor, you probably hand over your insurance, your ID, and contact details. It's just one of the many places that has your personal info. And if any of them accidentally expose it, you could be at risk for identity theft. LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second. If you become a victim, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year at lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
On this episode of Bantha Milk Podcast, we're going to tell you why A New Hope is the greatest Star Wars movie of all time.
It's the easiest argument we've ever had.
Sure is.
Intro music.
Feels no good to be dead.
Hunting is a complicated profession.
What up, James? How are you, my friend?
I am doing awesome. How are you doing this week, Rob?
I am just as awesome as you are. Busy. You know, we're both back to work. Unfortunately, the teaching time is over, but a lot of Star Wars stuff, exciting Star Wars stuff coming out right now.
So much.
Yes, and also fun stuff. Fun stuff for us as well. On Thursday, I was able to wrangle Tom and Ken and David together, and we did a around the Dejeric table that will air next week after this episode airs. We did a whole what if show. What if? And we made up our own what if questions about Star Wars. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of Jar Jar Binks. What if Jar Jar didn't exist? What if Jar Jar did this? What if whatever? So lots of Jar Jar stuff out there. So whatever. Because in my opinion, you could argue that Jar Jar is the reason that the entire universe collapsed the way it did. The entire galaxy collapsed the way it did because Jar Jar was so easily persuaded. But as we discussed, if it wasn't Jar Jar, it would have been somebody else. So whatever.
Always a pawn. Yep.
Yeah, Palpatine's super smart, so he's going to figure something else out. So that was it. It was 4 good questions. There's this weird format. I think I've seen it before or heard it before on some podcast. I don't remember, but like 4 people, 4 questions, a lot of answers. It's really original idea that I came up with here.
Yeah, I feel like people should steal it and keep on adapting it to make it their own because it's a good format. So
it is a very good format.
Yes.
So that'll air next week. It's going to be a little bonus in between our normal every other week episode. So look for an extra episode next week. What about you? Let's get right into what are we drinking?
I am just going back to more Skeleton Brew Crew. Because it was the best find I could get. So we're hanging out here.
I'm going back to the sci-fi hamster wheel because I had the blue milk last week when I recorded Spokes, the Hub Crawl after show. Eric complains that I don't promote my other podcast that I'm on, so I'm doing it now just for my friend Eric.
Well, it's off network, so
but I wanted to show them how blue the beer was and how crazy blue it was, and they were just as amazed as you and I were when we saw it. So
yeah, I heard those behind the scenes reactions. That was
yeah, it was really funny.
I was just glad more people were still asking, like, yeah, I don't want to know why it's blue.
It's true. We were like, what? I don't know. But Olivia was like, I do want to know why it's blue. And I was like, do you? Do you want to know? I don't know if you really do or not.
Big question.
So I'm going back to the sci-fi hamster wheel from, I can't even see it. It's so small in there. And I have my reading glasses on. Thin Man Brewing. That's a interesting beer company.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Thin Man Brewing in Buffalo, New York. Go Bills. All right, so very nice. Oh, I can this IPA. I can definitely smell the hops, and I got to slow down because this is all I poured, and it's all
You don't need that much foam. So
No.
yeah, IPA, the one kind of beer you definitely will not find me cracking open here.
Not a big fan of all the hops.
Just can't do it.
My wife doesn't like it either. She does. And my friend loves like double IPAs because, once you've got a single IPA, I'm going to have to let that settle for a little bit. Why not add even more hops into it? Make it a double IPA and then the triple IPA. I am happy that breweries have started to go back down to more sessionable drinks as opposed to trying to hit you with all these hop bombs that they were doing for a little while there.
Yep.
I do like hops, though. I like growing hops. I have some hops growing in my backyard. They grow on like a 12-foot tall vine. They're really tall, so it's really neat.
That is interesting. I just have weeds in my yard that I'm trying to slowly pull. So
there you go. While we're talking about the other shows on the network, let's plug them all away. EarzUp, the main show. They just did a show Saturday night. I think it's being uploaded either today or tomorrow already. The Supreme Resort, Puny Pod, Scraping the Vault, Buena Vista Boys, the Hub Crawl, which Eric is on that as well, and then my sister show to the Hub Crawl, Spokes, where we do an after show of their show, making them feel super special that they have an after show. Tag is another guy on there. You know him pretty well.
I do.
He and Eric, and it was funny. We had Tag on our last show because he wasn't on the main show. So we had him on as a guest on Spokes, and it was a lot of fun. The show was twice as long with Tag there.
Yeah, I can't imagine why. Put him in front of a microphone to talk about all things Disney, and it just goes. So
and it just goes and goes. Yeah, it was pretty fun, but it was fun though.
We have competing podcast recordings tonight because he's recording DL Weekly tonight. So
oh wow, I didn't realize he was recording that tonight. He normally does it on Tuesdays, right?
Usually Tuesdays. We moved it up for something else this week. So It was like an hour and a half ago. I was doing trivia for that show, and now I'm here. So
now you're here. Look at you. Well, I mean, if you needed, you could have let me know, whatever. But all right.
Yes, but the twin set's only set at a certain time, right? So
that's right. They sure do. All right. Well, let's get into it. Speaking of that, I want to see if I can do this second article. I want to try push it up onto the live stream because it's very important. What is this? This one, I did this one a while back, and now I don't know. This one's not working. Must watch autumn of highly anticipated TV series in action. Replace URL with this title. Let's go. Let me see it. Okay, Disney Plus. Interesting. Recheck all. Okay. Disney Plus kicks off a must-watch autumn of highly anticipated TV series, movies, and the action and drama of live football. Now, this came from Disney UK, which is very interesting. London, UK on September 9th. Disney Plus confirmed the lineup of Alien Earth, Only Murders in the Building, Lilo and Stitch, Thunderbolts. But there was a Star Wars thing way down here somewhere. Local original broadcasting, general entertainment. I think it was going down to Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. Did you watch? It came out on September 19th. I was going to watch it. I somehow missed it somehow. Did you happen to catch it at all?
I haven't even watched the first one that came out like this, but now that I've seen the character lineup that's in this one, I will be watching both very soon.
Okay. Yeah, it was short. It was only like 4 or 8 episodes. I think it was like 8 episodes or something like that. And each episode was at the max like 15 minutes. So the first one was cute. It was fun. And it's easily binge watching because you're only watching it for like less than an hour for the whole thing. But the new series, which continues the story, began in 2024 with Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. A new threat rises in the galaxy, and Sig and Dev Griebling must combine their powers of force building and Sith breaking to stop it. Alongside Jedi Bob, which was a character from the first one, he was pretty funny, Yessi, Scala, and Servo, they will journey into the deepest corners of Lego Star Wars lore. I think it's Servo is their Gonk droid. And I built a Gonk droid using 2 bins and then like
Nice.
made the feet and everything like that.
Of course. Yeah.
So it was fun. I have it in my room, and it was funny because I was trying to outsmart the kids, but then the principals outsmarted everybody. So 2 years ago, the kids were allowed to have their cell phones on them at all times, and this is even in middle school. But it was just a huge distraction because they're just always on it. They're texting, they're doing this, they're whatever. They're not paying attention.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to outsmart them. I made a gong droid, and then I got 4 charging stations, put them on top of the gong droid, like built them into the top of the gong droid so that they came in, they could put their phone on it to charge their phone. But then at the same time, it was now on the droid and far away from them, so they couldn't play with it. So I was like, I'm going to win. And then come August, the principal said, you know what, we're making a new rule now. The kids aren't allowed to have their cell phones at all. They have to have them in their lockers. I was like, you defeated the whole purpose for me making this gong droid.
It was brilliant.
It was brilliant. It was a great idea. It was fun. It's still sitting in my room. And every once in a while, I'll slap my phone on top of there to charge it.
Nice.
Because it's there and I need to and whatever. So it works out good. But I wanted to make the Lego one, but the Lego gong droid is like, Lego is very square because it's made of, in the game, it's like a 4x4 cube type thing with like some stickers on the front of it. So,
Checks out.
so it's much smaller or whatever. So I was like, maybe I'll make a Lego one, but then I didn't, whatever.
Whatever.
Long story short, for no reason. So Tony Revolori returns as Dev Greeby, Bobby Moynihan as Jedi Bob, Marcia Martin as Yezi Scala, Michael Cusack as Servo, Billy D. Williams as Landorian, Ahmed Best as Darth Jar Jar.
Yes, as he should be.
As he should be. Of course, Anthony Daniels is in it as C-3PO. Sam Witwer as Maul, so
As he should be.
as he should be. Helen Sadler as Darth Ray. Phil Lamar as Darth Kit Fisto. Matthew Wood as General Grievous. Jake Green as Greedo, Shelby Young as Princess Leia, Portia Michaels as Yoda, blah, blah, blah. It goes through all the different people. But they're basically, long story short, the new season is out. And I'm actually disappointed in myself for not watching it. I could have watched it yesterday when I was playing silly video games, but instead I didn't. So that's that. Now, the big news that just came out today.
I can't believe this is second in this show.
Well, I wanted to lead up to it. I didn't want to.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't want to.
Baby steps into it, some might say.
Yep. Work my way into it. I can do it over here, I think. Let me see. Hold on. I'm trying to make it so that we can see it on. Here we go. On the YouTube as well. Nope, that's chat. This one. All right, The Mandalorian and Grogu first trailer teaser. So this should now be popping up on. Of course, it's all right. It'll work. All right, so here we go. The Mandalorian and Grogu first trailer teaser revealed, and here is the video. Here's the clip. Let's see if we can watch it. Let me see if I make it full screen.
Looks great. Yep.
It looks great. Still can't hear anything. I'm very disappointed in that.
I hear it.
You hear it?
Yes.
on, baby.
Just leaning right into everyone calling him Baby Yoda anyway. So there it is.
There it is. Let me turn this off. Okay. All right. I love it. I think it's so much fun already.
Yeah, it looks like the right carryover. Like it's got that same vibe and aesthetic from the TV show. It seems to be like an adventure that's going to embrace all the things that made the Mandalorian. Ties into whatever the rebellion is after the Empire with the cantina style scene. Like there's a lot of hope in this one.
Yeah, a whole bunch of hope, and it looks like it's going to have just enough comedy in it too. When they showed the clip of Grogu, or as we used to call him, Norman, on this show, because a coworker of mine had the puppet that I have up on the shelf, or not puppet, but the stuffed animal that I have up on the shelf way back there. And when it was just baby Yoda and they didn't know the name of it, she said, "Hey, around my house we call him Norman." And I was like, "I love
the child." The child was the name.
Yes.
But Norman.
Child. And we were like, she's like, "I call him Norman," and then Nick and I were like, "We're going with Norman also." So we called him Norman for the longest time, and we called before we knew that the Mandalorian's name was Din Djarin, we called him Kyle. So it was Kyle and Norman.
All right, yeah.
But yeah, a lot of little comedy in there. I like Grogu jumping onto the Mandalorian's back, onto Din's back. There was a good clip of looks like the new Razor Crest, because if we remember in season 3, he went back and he was like, "I need another Razor Crest," and she's like, "Oh, they're gonna be hard to find." And he goes, "Get me one," or whatever. So we see a new Razor Crest, which makes me happy. I'm sure there'll be a new Lego version of it coming out with all the yellow on it, because I got one and then they blew it up, and I was like, should I just throw this on the ground and turn it into Lego pieces, or should I keep it in its Lego form?
Oh, but it was so cool when they rebuilt the Naboo starfighter and everything into it. It's like, this is great.
Yeah,
this is
great.
The exact touch of nostalgia that I'm looking for. So
yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So
I feel wild admitting that one of the things that I feel most excited for seeing this trailer is that Zeb is back. Like, there was just such a slight little cameo earlier on after all that Rebels instance. Like, come on, good character, interesting species. Let's make it happen.
Make it happen. And those giant robots, we never saw robots that big before that he's blowing up.
It's like repurposed magnet guards or something is the style that I get from it. And so it's like, ooh, what are we doing with this?
What are we doing? And then the finally the blowing up of the looked like an AT-AT, could have been a little bit modified of some sort, but he blew it up from the inside out. So
dramatic too, that cliff fall and everything. So
yeah, and knowing Disney and how they do things, that all those clips are from the first 10 minutes of the movie, I'm sure.
Probably, yeah.
Because even when they did the series and they show you the previews, even 3 different previews in, all that stuff is from the first, say, 2 episodes of any of the series that they have. So we're always like, okay, we've seen just about every single part of the preview now, and now finally we're getting into stuff that we haven't seen yet. So all that stuff's going to take place very early in the movie, which will be awesome because it looks amazing, and I want it to be that entertaining all the way through. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's a good testament of just the quality of the production that the TV series was, that you transition it to a movie and it's like the exact same kind of feel to it. And so it's just, let's let these characters continue to ride and carry the series into the next era.
Yep, 100%. 100%. And speaking of the next era, the next article is about Star Wars Starfighter. Disney has revealed the first images from Star Wars Starfighter, and fans have noticed a small detail most people are overlooking. The debut shot, originally posted on director Sean Levy's Instagram and later on Disney's official sites, features Ryan Gosling and a young companion on a makeshift raft in the middle of a giant ocean. If you think the raft looks familiar, there's a good reason for that. Commenters on X are saying it resembles some sort of rebellion land speeder. Since it's now seaborne, that suggests it's rather a fatal mishap, and Gosling's character had presumably had to rapidly adapt its hull for its watery new conditions. Those conditions are on the Mediterranean Sea. That's confirmed by Levy, who currently shooting Star Wars Starfighter. The Deadpool and Wolverine director said the shot was taken off the coast of Sardinia, Italy.
Yeah. Sardonia, I believe.
Sardonia. There we go. Yep. And Siri now thinks that I'm talking to her. It's only 4,000. Yeah, it's only 4,295 miles away from where I am right now.
So close.
So close. I think I'm going to swim there. So Sardinia, Italy, right off the coast of Italy there. So if you want to go see where they filmed, if you want to be in the ocean where they filmed that, you have to go to Italy. There's a radical departure shift from previous Star Wars films, which have heavily featured the dry and arid landscapes of desert planets like Tatooine and Jakku. But the thing that they noticed was somebody posted talking about Ryan Gosling's character. First look at Ryan Gosling and Flynn Gray in Star Wars Starfighter in theaters in May 2027. So we have 2 years to wait for this.
Got a while.
He literally looks like Cade Skywalker. I hate when they repurpose EU characters and things. This is from Hanji War. Okay. Andor was good, but he was basically discount Kyle Katarn. Kyle Katarn. They even gave Andor Kyle's blaster. His sidekick, meanwhile, is played by Finn Gray. His clothes, if not his entire demeanor, are giving a subtle callback to Han Solo. Could he be up to similar scoundrel ways?
He's wearing a belt, blue pants, and a white shirt. If that's Han Solo, it's not that much.
I mean, look, nobody else can wear blue pants except for Han Solo.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding me. So
it's young Han Solo.
If we're going to make jokes about this, my favorite one was someone was like, is this Star Wars or is this Waterworld? Because it looks like a sequel to Waterworld. So
it does look like a sequel to Waterworld, that's for sure.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Strong feelings coming out. But I am very excited to see us breaking out into new characters, new world, new story, like not tied to the Skywalker series. I'm hoping the fans don't just immediately be like, it's another Acolyte. It's just not going to work. Like we need to be handheld in the Skywalker era. It's like, let's see where it goes. You got good strong leads with these two actors who have proven their chops in a lot of ways. So it should be interesting.
It should be interesting. And I mean, Mando, although in Mandalorian we did see a Luke Skywalker, but it wasn't all about Luke Skywalker. So it was fine. That little cameo was okay. I actually wanted a better cameo of Boba Fett, but I also at the same time liked the fact that Mando stood alone and didn't need Boba Fett to carry the show. And if anything, the Mandalorian carried the Boba Fett series. So
it's true. I feel like so many people when like Mandalorian was happening, they're like, yes, we're finally getting the Boba Fett show, because everyone just wanted to know the mystery behind Boba Fett. And then we learned we don't actually want to know the mystery behind Boba Fett, but we want to tell stories of Mandalorians and other people in Star Wars. And so
I wouldn't have minded if they did a Boba Fett before, not an older Boba Fett, which is what we got, but a younger Boba Fett as him first becoming a bounty hunter and all that good stuff. Like that would have been more fun for me to see rather than dad bod Boba Fett.
Yeah, like a Tales of the Bounty Hunter series would be so cool to let Greedo have moment. Cad Bane, Bosk, IG-88. Like there's so many good bounty hunters out there that they could really pull stories, probably even from a lot of the comics or even the EU books, but tread carefully. I don't know the EU books nearly enough, so...
Right. Yeah, but it would be fun. It would totally be fun, and it would be fun. And I mean, you could just one episode each could be about them going individually or in a group or whatever, going on a bounty and whatever, and it'll be a lot of fun. And it'll be fun to just keep recycling, and every once in a while, you got to do something in between there. But yeah, it would be awesome. Mm-hmm. We talked about this before, Gina Carano's lawsuit and how they settled and all that good stuff. So now, very exciting, she can now act again. She was never able to act because of this ongoing lawsuit. I don't know if it was really she wasn't able to, or she just wasn't getting hired by anything. But she now has a new TV show. Carano is set to star in a new series set in Las Vegas called Logan Rain, according to Deadline. She'll play a vigilante crime fighter who has the comparatively innocuous job of a legal assistant in Vegas during the day, and then at night she's a crime fighter. The project is being developed by the film and television production company Straightwire Entertainment Group in partnership with Get Out producers Yvette Yates-Reddick and Sean Riddick as Logan Rain's producers. At the time of writing, there doesn't seem to be a network or streaming platform attached to Logan Rain, but Carano told Deadline that she's been craving to bring to life Logan Rain. So she's trying to make this TV series Logan Rain, and I guess it's in that time now where they film all these pilots and try to get the pilots picked up and stuff. So we may or may not ever see Logan Rain as a TV series, but now that her lawsuit is over, she can finally act again. Whatever.
It's a pretty good production group to be behind her. That it's probably giving her some hope to it, because they did Get Out and the Black KK Klansman. I don't know how to pronounce that movie title. So I definitely know those names, and so it's like, oh, maybe. But I feel bad because at this point I've kind of written her off as an actress like Gail Gadot, and it's just like, I don't know if you're gonna draw me to watch a movie because of you and your acting chops. Like, it's just been so long, I can't even think about what she was like in The Mandalorian. So right. And it was funny. Like, I did like her because she was also in one of the Fast and the Furiouses. I don't remember which one of the 75 Fast and Furious movies there were. Seen zero of those. Can't help you.
Yeah, but I did. She's very good because she was in the UFC. So she's a very strong woman. She knows how to fight. So it doesn't look like, I hate so many times when they have like a really beautiful, skinny little woman and she's like beating up 75 guys. And you're like, this person, there's no way that she could actually do this. But like, then they show like Gail, or even Gail Gadot could do it too. Like you could see that they were strong women, and you're like, okay, these women could actually. And Gina Carano was one of those that you were like, okay, she could actually do some damage. Like, she knows what she's doing. She's a good fighter.
Yes.
And she did a good job of fighting in The Mandalorian. There was a giant fight scene with her and I forget her name, Vin Diesel's girlfriend in the Fast and the Furious, and it was a great fight scene. It lasted like 10 minutes. It was ridiculous.
Oh, that's nice.
But it was good. So she could carry a show, but like you said, it's been so long now that it's like, why do I even care? Type of thing.
Yep.
New Star Wars TV show name drops an iconic Legends character who has never been introduced to canon. So in going back to Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, Pieces of the Past has arrived on Disney Plus. In episode 2, Yezi calls on some characters for help. Watto, Hux, Mara. If you're confused why Yezi would be calling Watto and Hux for help, that's because in this universe everything is all mixed up. But most intriguingly of all is the name Mara. Most likely this refers to Mara Jade, one of the most famous of the Legends characters. And Mara Jade started as an Imperial, but eventually switched sides and even married Luke Skywalker and has a son with him named Ben. So if this is the introducing to Mara Jade in canon, is awesome, because how better to introduce her than in Lego Star Wars? I love it. Lego's like,
Can't imagine anything better, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like Kyle Katarn is making an appearance in this. Kind of in that same way. Like Cal Kestis is probably going to show up at this point. I know Darth Revan shows up, which is a great nod back to Kotar. Like, let's just throw all these characters for the fan service in here, and I am all for it. Is my sarcastic tone. I want this.
I want this, yeah, and I want it also because just like with the Black Millennium Falcon, they give you all those characters in it. Like the Black Millennium Falcon has the white Darth Vader and a couple other characters. So these random, legends and video game characters and stuff are definitely going to get themselves a Lego character also. So that'll be lots of fun. I didn't even hit the news video clip here or audio clip.
How does anyone know that we're in news?
I know we'll have to do it all over again now with the audio clip, but we're not going to do that. But that is the end of what I have for news. I'm sure. Did you find something else out other than what I just brought up here that you want to throw into the news segment?
No, you got it all.
All right. So the big one, of course, is the trailer for Mando. So I'm very excited about that.
Huge.
So it's huge. So that's going to wrap up the news. All right, that's enough of that. Because I love this song so much.
Can't miss it.
Can't miss it. It's going to be your time now to do all the talking. I get to sit back and listen because it is now time for...
Yeah. I'm the Jedi of the week. I've been running it like I be Yoda for a minute. Putting on a clinic with my homie Obi-Wan Kenobi. Can you feel it? On the field like a real one. Yeah, I'm the one. Like my first name was Anakin. My voice got a panicking. Going hard like the mandolin. I'm manning it. I am Jedi of the week. Jedi of the week. I'm the Jedi of the week. I am.
Anything that rhymes with Anakin, you have to throw in there. So I love it.
The
all right, it is that time.
The mannequin. Yep.
Look, AI is pretty good, but they're not perfect.
No, we
Go
do
for
what
it.
we
Hit
can.
Hit us up. What do you got for us? I hope it starts with a letter D.
It does. We are continuing our alphabetical journey. So, D for Jedi Master Depa Billaba. What a great name to say more than anything. Depa Billaba, Jedi Master, was in the prequel era, was actually on the Jedi Council when Anakin showed up, and then continued on for a little bit as well. Master Billaba is known because they trained under Mace Windu, so that's what gave her a lot of her kind of like power and presence that he really has. She doesn't show up a lot in a lot of our canon material except in Rebels because she was the Jedi Master to Kanan Jarrus. And so there was a lot of that went through it. So, but for the most part, she was on the council trying to take care of the Clone Wars, shape things along the way. But training Kanan Jarrus along the way was a pretty big deal and really influenced him if you watch Rebels and kind of see a lot of that story as it goes in there throughout. One of the few Jedi that embraced, like Mace Windu, the lightsaber style of Vapid to make herself stronger when she was fighting stronger enemies. Not her favorite fighting style, though. If you watch the show, that's Form 3. That's what she really likes. And that's our Jedi of the week, Depa Billaba.
Depa Billaba. And I love Rebels. It's one of my favorite shows.
It's so good.
Yes. And she was also in episode 1. You just saw her on the Jedi Council, but she does have credits in episode 1 as well.
You say hello, Dad, call me Luke Skywalker, I'm a pro, yeah. I'm a boss like Boba Fett, in the city with my clones. I control the set, and I'm all up in the zone. If I lose a hand, I'm still gonna do it with my soul. Yeah, making moves like Solo.
I love it. Just start naming Star Wars people. Boba Fett, clones. They're not Jedi, but whatever.
I'm out of lightsabers, so carry on.
All right. Well, with those two things out of the way, I think we should take a little break, a little commercial break here. And then we'll come back with our main topic, which is a pretty easy one. And this week is why is A New Hope the best Star Wars movie ever? So we'll talk about that right after this commercial break. I think I have to get that one. That's
hot dog. That's super interesting.
Yeah, I mean that's the best one yet. That's a great product in there. I love it.
At least going to make for a really good talk at the dinner table tonight. So
it sure will. It sure will. We have to start adding Dan's commercials in for what's the dating app? Single Riders dating app. I don't know if you listen to their show, to the Supreme Resort at all, but he's got some pretty funny commercials there for a dating app called Single Riders.
That's
so
incredible.
Throw that in at commercial breaks as well. All right. So our main topic this week is all about why A New Hope is the best Star Wars movie. Now, as you alluded to in the very beginning, this one's probably going to be the easiest one for us to talk about. But there's 11 movies so far as I can count. And we're going to do spread out throughout the time why all 11 of them are the best Star Wars movie of all time. Mm-hmm. This one's going to be pretty easy. Some of them may be a little bit more difficult to try and convince you that this is the best Star Wars movie of all time. So you start talking because I did a lot already. You tell me what you think, and I'll throw my 2 cents. And you got one note.
I have my 13 reasons why.
I love it.
Not to be confused with that other series.
It's not just a movie or a TV show or a series. It is 13 reasons why A New Hope is the best Star Wars movie.
Right. All right. So the first reason that I wrote down this is the best Star Wars movie, because of the Star Wars movies, especially the Skywalker saga, it is the only one that is a complete self-contained story. You can watch this movie alone. You don't need context, and you can enjoy it all the way through.
Also, it's the only Star Wars movie that before they started filming it, Mark Hamill never watched a Star Wars movie before this. Isn't that strange?
Amazing. Wow.
It's amazing. Yeah. He had no clue what he was doing when he did it. And, so it's pretty interesting. But yes, I do agree that it is a complete movie. It's a standalone movie. It comes to a conclusion that everybody is happy and it works out great. And it's also interesting because of that, not because of that, but like it's now been known that Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher signed on for a 3-film deal, but Harrison Ford did not.
Nope.
So they were unsure, at 2 and even at the end of 2 especially, would he be back for 3 or not, because so it was good that they wrapped it all up and they made it all into one. So that's a good one. It's
pretty impressive, like how they were able to conclude and then carry on in future movies. But it's just such a good take from that one of what it became. So yeah, so that's number 1 for me. I'm gonna go with it. It reinvented cinematic storytelling because it incorporated samurai films, westerns, World War II dogfights. Even when George Lucas was telling people about it and storyboarding it, basically, he was using World War II dogfights as clips, as like space holders for, okay, now I want you to do this, but now I want you to do it in outer space instead. A space opera, and Lucas created something fresh but familiar. It connected with both kids and adults in a way few films ever have. So I do like if once you watch it, then you find out, the hero story. This is, what Luke Skywalker was on and all that good stuff. So it is good that he was able to take it. And it is a Western filmed in space, it's basically a Western filmed in space, which is really neat because before him, you got to look back to the time frame in the 70s.
before the 70s and the 50s and 60s, there were a lot of Westerns, but then they were losing their ground. People didn't care about them anymore. So he said, well, I still like Westerns, but I'm going to make it different.
Yeah, that genre blend really, really just made it something really special. Like, you know, everything you said, even like a sprinkle of fairy tale, I feel like is inside of there as well. It's really masterwork of how well they were able to blend pieces of everything into it. And exactly like you said, and at the heart, it's a Western, and you promote it as a space opera. Those are not words that you're going to get people to watch a lot of film. And yet here this is. Yep.
All right. What else you got? Your turn.
That was my reason number 6. So well done.
Okay.
I'm going to build on that, and I'm going to say, especially with the dogfight scenes, that the third act, so the 20 minutes of them assaulting the Death Star, is some of the most compelling film of like a third act that exists. The structure is great. The cuts between all of the pilots and their things still gives you that feeling of tension, and it's really smart, like camera work, especially with the limited technology that was around there, to tell something that still holds up just as well today in that same sensation.
Yeah, and just THX and the Lucasfilm guys spent so much time just trying to figure out how to build it and how to make it. And George said other dogfights were filmed where like the camera was still and the ships would go by, and he was like, no, I want the camera to be moving. So they had to figure out how to make the camera move and how to make the ship move while the camera was moving. So to film those, and especially the trench scene and everything else, like they had to create everything. There was no computer program. There was no set plan to do this type of filming. They had to come up with it. They had to create it. They had to build all the rigs and everything for the cameras to go on. So it was just a masterpiece of how they were able to build and film and do all that good stuff all at the same time. But the one thing that I do find funny, if you watch it as many times as I'm sure you've watched it as many times as I have, you see some of the clips that are like recycled over and over again, like the not the X-wing, but the bad guy pilot. Yeah, and like he's like, I don't know if it's Darth Vader or if it's just one of the pilots, but I think it might even be Darth Vader. He's like turning something on his controller, and then they go to some other scenes, and then like a minute and a half later, he's turning that same thing again, like it's the same scene over again. Or I don't know why films do this all the time, but Star Wars is notorious for this, where they flip the image. So instead of looking to the left, you're looking to the right. And there's so many times that they've done that, and especially in this movie, they did it quite a few times. But so that's pretty funny. But all right, well, there we go. Moving on to that. I like it. I want to go with just a very simple one. It is listed on AFI's 100 Years, 100 Movies. It is now moved up to, in 1998 when they first did this list, it was the number 15 movie of all time, 15th greatest movie of all time. And since then, in their 2007 ranking, it moved up to the 13th greatest movie of all time.
Ooh, okay.
So it's in the top 20. You got Citizen Kane, Casablanca, The Godfather, Gone with the Wind, like all of these, except for like The Godfather 72, but like Gone with the Wind 39, Lawrence of Arabia 62, The Wizard of Oz 39. And think about The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz was the first one that was filmed in color also. So one from black and white to color was amazing. The Graduate 67, On the Waterfront 54. And then Schindler's List is above it from 1993.
Okay.
Which understandably so.
Very
Singing in the Rain 52, It's a Wonderful Life 46, Sunset Boulevard 50, The Bridge on the River Kwai 57, Some Like It Hot 1959. So Star Wars 1977. There's only 3 movies that I'll go with 3 because Godfather was 72. I was born in 73. So only 3 of these movies that were filmed after I was born. So it's in the top 15 movies, all of them are over 50 years old, 60 years old, some of them even more. And And so, you think of filmmaking, this was like a resurgence in amazing film making and writing and all that good stuff. So that's my next one, is just how everybody thinks it's amazing.
And that is good for that list, because I hear movies like Citizen Kane and I'm like, nobody actually likes Citizen Kane. We all just respect it for how like perfect of a film that it actually is.
Right. And it's also funny, like even my son, who's now he just turned 21, but he likes the prequel trilogy better than the original trilogy of Star Wars, because the original trilogy is boring to him because it's more story and more plot line, and the prequels are a lot more action and everything like that. And that's how we feel about like Citizen Kane and Casablanca and Gone with the Wind, but the people who remember those movies are like, oh my gosh, this was an amazing movie. But if you were to sit down and tell me I have to watch this now, I'd be like, oh, I have to watch this. So, but tell me I have to watch Star Wars and I'm going, okay, I'll do it. I'm in. Let's do it.
No problem.
No problem.
I'm in. Yep.
What else you got?
I will take the easy next reason, which you started alluding to, and that is ILM. Creating all of the effects, both physical and visual, for this was an incredible feat, which is why George Lucas had to get the time right to do this and to build on it. And it is reason enough for any fan to go and watch Light and Magic if you have access to Disney Plus, the 6-part season 1 documentary, as well as the 4 new parts that came out. Like, just understanding that behind the scenes of how close this movie was to not happening, but because of how iconic it is, because of those visual effects and those experiences, like, this started it all. This set the foundation. This opened the gateway to everything else that we know and love today. I always think about it with like our exchange students that we've hosted, because it's always the same thing of they don't like old movies because they look fake. And so if we wouldn't have what we have today, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that one. I'm looking at groundbreaking innovation just as a whole, like you were saying, and like what we talked all about. All the film, just the way they decided to film everything, the creation of ILM, everything that you just said, even the Star Destroyer, just how big they were like, well, we need to make this model and it needs to be 21 feet long or however long it was. And just for them to record a camera flying over top of it, it was just amazing. So the fact that they decided to go so big with everything and make everything so awesome. And I love, what do we call it? Practical effects. But back then it was that those were the special effects, because they didn't have CGI and anything else, but just how good the practical effects were for the time. And even how the way they did the lightsabers. I don't know if you, I think they talked about it in the ILM special. Like on the actual original film, they were somebody who went in and was scratching the film out and then painting over each of the scratches. So frame by frame, somebody was coloring them in by hand practically, which was super amazing. And it also allowed for some mistakes. So there is the scene when Darth Vader is walking into the hangar bay and he's carrying his lightsaber, and it's got a metal pole on the end of it, but it's not glowing, but you can see it for a split second there, this metal pole in his hand, as opposed to the glowing lightsaber that it was supposed to be. So it is fun, and I'm happy. I even think in the latest version, George Lucas didn't fix that one clip for some reason. So, and also, while we're talking about that, it also has stormtroopers are banging their heads.
Oh, that's such a good scene. Those mistake moments are some of the best things. So
some of the best things in it, yeah, which is awesome. So, all right. What else we got? We have, you can do it. All right, I'll go with a George Lucas's pure passion project. As George Lucas's original vision and only chance to make Star Wars, the film carries the inherent purity and passion that is often considered unmatched and subsequent in subsequent installments. Like, he knew this is what he wanted. He was working on this. This was his baby, and he wanted to make sure that everything was great. I like the fact that when he even wrote the script, he basically wrote the script for all 9 movies. When he was like, I'm going to write the script for this, and he was like, okay, I need to find the best part that people will like the most, and that's when he broke it down to the middle of the script, which was what became episodes 4, 5, and 6, and then he built on that and made episode 4 that one great chapter in there that, like you said, stands alone all by itself. This was his thing. This is what he wanted. He was all over everything about this. So that's it for me. What do you got next?
I think before I give you the next, I think that's such a pertinent point when you watch someone who's like putting heart and soul into something, especially when it's like he's throwing his money and stuff behind this to make it happen. So you know that he cares, he wants it to be right. And I think you get that as the viewer and everything of like, this is the world that he wanted. This is the story he wanted to tell. And I feel like there's always that different kind of vibe to it when a director has that. Not always like the big success, but at least you get that like piece of understanding of them. And so I'm always a fan of when we get those. So
yeah, I agree. I love when you, I think John Krasinski made the movie If for his kids. It was like Imaginary Friend.
Imaginary Friend, yep.
And unfortunately, it was not a success at all. It was pretty poorly reviewed and very poorly seen. But I was listening to him go around on the circuit promoting it, and he was so excited for this movie because he wrote this movie for his kids, and he loved it. At least when he was promoting it, he was saying that he loved it. Now, it could turn out being a 10 years from now thing where he goes, yeah, you know what? I knew as soon as we started filming, it wasn't going to be what I wanted it to be. But at least when he was promoting it, he was talking about how it was his movie. He was writing it. He did it all for his kids. And you could tell that passion project there. So even though it was a flop, he still really, really cared about it. Kind of the way George Lucas cared about this one.
And I thought If was super cute. So, I didn't have a problem with it. It wasn't like cinema masterpiece by any means, but it did what it set out to do. Mm-hmm. This is a Star Wars podcast.
Right.
Next reason for me, and this is the nerdy D&D side of me, is this movie did such a good job at simply doing a lot of complex world building. They dropped in just enough lore throughout, mentions of the Clone Wars, the Force, all of the characters that you started to just kind of see the world around. Like even Alderaan, barely known as a thing, but just there's all these like hooks suddenly that you as a viewer can be like, I want to know more about that. Like I want to know more about these bounty hunters that eventually show up and stuff. Like they did such a good job with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and with that, also all the iconic characters that we now can't live without. From the very beginning, Luke, Leia, Han, Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, R2-D2, C-3PO, Chewbacca, introduced all at once. And then, like, you can ask anybody to name a Star Wars character, and I bet you they'll name any one of those characters. But if you ask them to name somebody from the first 3 movies that's not those people, I have a feeling that they're going to have a hard time coming up with somebody other than maybe Anakin. But right now my mind is like Obi-Wan's mentor. What the heck is his name?
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon Jinn, yeah. Like, if that was a trivia question, who's Obi-Wan's mentor? Even I just right now was like, oh my God, my mind. But yeah, people will be like, I don't know who that is, but you can say name somebody from Star Wars, and I guarantee that these 6 people will get named more times than anything else is.
And I think this is so impressive because so many movies, when they try to introduce too many people, they just get lost in it. Like for me, Marvel's Eternals is one of those movies I think about. There's a lot of potential interest in these heroes that are in this world and trying to hide themselves, but they don't get enough time to introduce themselves, or they're just not fleshed out the same, or because we don't have 3 sequels and time to sit with them, we don't have that same feeling. Lots of things that it could be, but just from this one movie in that time frame is my understanding. People knew these characters, people liked these characters, people wanted to go with it, and they are some of arguably the most iconic characters that we have in film.
Yeah, even not even in Star Wars film, but just in film in general. You know, like I'm pretty sure Darth Vader is he's in the top 10 bad guys of all time. Top 10 bad guys in film. Mm-hmm. And if he's not, Hannibal Lecter is 1.
No, fair.
And then Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader is number 2. You know, you got Hans Gruber from Die Hard, Joker, Thanos, Norman Bates, but there's no single definitive top 10 list for movie villains, but some of the most frequently cited and iconic bad guys include Darth Vader, the Joker, Hannibal Lecter, Hans Gruber. So that's what AFI has 100 heroes and villains.
Of course
they do. Here's the heroes list. Is Luke Skywalker in the heroes list? Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford I think is on here 2 times.
That checks out. Yeah,
Indiana Jones is number 2. Rocky Balboa from Philly, is number 7, and I don't see Luke Skywalker. I'm looking through really fast, but let's go to the villains. Hannibal Lecter 1, Norman Bates 2, Darth Vader 3. So the number 4, the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz.
That is a good choice. So I mean, right there, Darth Vader, number 3 biggest villain of just in movies, not even of Star Wars, just in movies. So, you know, when it's a character like that it's going to be awesome. So, here's what I think does well in episode 4 with these characters as we talk about Luke and Vader is like we have so much mystery behind them that it makes them better characters. Vader is just this evil menace that has this presence on the ship, just out to get these people like kids. So it's like, okay, clearly just terrible, evil, bad guy that people are afraid of. And so without any of the other backstory nuance, like it's just pure evil, and we love that. Meanwhile, Luke is this nobody from this planet, and it gives the hero like so much more value of it's just like this kid from nowhere that can be anything until he's not eventually, and then Leia's not, and then Rey is not. Why does everyone have to be tied to this? Like, this is one of the most irritating things. Like, we're only mad about it for Rey. We're not mad about it for everyone else before that, because one of the greatest twists in movie history, but that's for a future argument. But it's like, I think Luke is the most interesting in this movie because he's a nobody.
He's a nobody. He's just a farm boy from Tatooine. He could be a corn farmer from Idaho, and it would be the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
So
that's why he's so relatable to everyone who's watching. It's like I could be that hero too.
I could be that hero. I'm a nobody from New Jersey. I could be Luke Skywalker. I didn't know, and it's not even like, you know, later on when you see Broom Boy and it's a little kid who's able to you know, move the broom around. He had no clue that he had these special powers at all. Like, he was never like using them secretly. Like Superman, when they always show him like as a kid on Earth, and he's, you know, playing football and he's able to kick a field goal 500 yards because he's Superman. Like, he wasn't hiding anything. He didn't know that he had these powers. So he could be any one of us. We just didn't know that we had all these metachlorians inside of us that could make us superpowers.
Exactly.
I also like the fact that Alec Guinness in the first one was very confused and was like, what am I doing? And Harrison Ford said that when he and Luke were doing scenes with Alec Guinness, that they were like so afraid that because he was such a famous and such a powerful actor, that they were so afraid that he was going to be so mad at them for being idiot kids who were just like goofing around or whatever. So It was pretty funny, but yeah, it was great that he was the big name, was the old guy was the big name on the show, and you didn't know anybody else. Like if you knew George Lucas, you knew Harrison Ford because he was in American Graffiti, but he still was like an up and coming guy. So. Yep.
I still love the story behind Alec Guinness's contract for A New Hope, that he just did it on like, what was it, like 2% of the profits.
Right.
It's like, man, what a dumb contract in the future with everyone you're working around in space opera, but he's brilliant. I
also love the fact that this movie also changed toy making, honestly, for the whole, because George Lucas wanted to be able to do all of the toy production himself. He wanted to have full control of it, and the movie theaters like, whatever. The studio was like, have at it, do what you want. I don't really care. Nobody cares about toys. And then he made billions, probably at this point, dollars on the toys after, and they were like, wait, what? You can do that? Like before then, maybe there was like something that you could buy at the movie theater, a popcorn bucket at the movie theater or something like that, but there was no toys, no T-shirts, no anything that went along with it, you know? So the fact that not only did he revolutionize movie making, but he also revolutionized merchandising as well. Mm-hmm. So now we have all this movie merchandising to go along with it.
Star Wars the merchandise. We love to see it. So
Spaceballs the T-shirt. I'm wearing it right now. I'm wearing a Boba Fett shirt. So yeah, I was doing so much laundry yesterday because it was just building up and building up, and I probably have hundreds of T-shirts. It's ridiculous how many T-shirts I have, but I'm like, I either have a whole bunch of T-shirts for my school or Star Wars. Like it's probably 90% of my shirts are either Star Wars or my school, and then the other 10% of my T-shirts are something else, something random other than that.
Impressive.
But it's like crazy how many Star Wars shirts I now have, and it is fun when you go to the parks. And I'm wearing like, I have the one with the stormtroopers that look like the Beatles characters walking across Abbey Road. And like the one day I was wearing it and I didn't see anybody else wearing that shirt, and I was like, I can't believe I'm the only one that has this. And then the next day we were at the park again, and I saw probably 50, not 50, I saw a bunch of people the next day wearing that shirt. And I was like, oh, you were all waiting till today to wear it. I see. I didn't realize that I had to wait till tomorrow to wear it. So.
Amazing. Yep.
Yes.
Should have planned ahead a little better.
I should have called those random people who were at the park and asked them. All right, what else do you have in your 13 things about Star Wars? What are we up to?
We've skipped around a little, so we'll go with number 8, and this was the music of John Williams for the first time.
Yes,
this set the whole tone for the whole series until we had our nice shift in the Mandalorian with the new people coming in.
Yes,
but this made it. 100%.
Oh yes, and not only was it this, but it was every Star Wars movie until the Mandalorian. But yeah, John Williams is so good and so amazing, and you have to watch any of the John Williams things on Disney Plus because you get to find out more about the man and find out how he even got like fired from, or left, I should say, working at operas, because not operas, at like Radio City Music Hall or whatever, like doing big orchestras. Orchestra's the word I'm looking for, not opera. Orchestras. Because he wanted them to play like the TV, the movie stuff, and they were like, we don't do that. That's beneath us. And now there's whole specials where you just go just to see the orchestra playing Star Wars music, or Superman, or they do Harry Potter also. But yeah, John Williams, I mean, this wasn't the first big movie that he did, I don't think, but
no, he did Jaws a couple years ago. He was a part of Lost in Space at some point, doing some of that. So yeah, he definitely got in there. But this probably like established him permanently.
Oh my gosh, he was so good. The music is so good, and even like you hear 3 notes and you know it's a John Williams song. You're like, yep. Mm-hmm. Like between that, I mean, the Jurassic Park soundtrack later on was amazing. Like his music in Jurassic Park is so inspiring, so like moving. Like when they first get off the Jeep and they see the giant
the
brachiosauruses and the music hits you all at the same time, it's like, oh my gosh, I want to live there. I want to be there. This is amazing.
Yep. So it's great throughout, but this is the first time we get it. This is when the nostalgia comes in. So
yeah, and then he just gets better and better and better every time.
Yeah.
So go ahead to something else. I had something and now it slipped out of my head. So you can go to something else and then I'll try and find my thing.
I will carry on. The little bit that I talk about film and storytelling, this is a perfect example of a hero's journey. You started alluding to this earlier, but as Luke goes through it, he is just a normal person, gets called to action, says no, ends up having to go with it, and just goes through this whole arc. And it's just beautiful how it embraces it. It doesn't feel like it's like just following the steps in that same process, but it still gives you all the emotions and expectations that you want out of a good hero story.
100%. Just everything about we love a hero story and just putting it all together with all the different stuff. And even this is where I was going to go with it, with the space opera, with the land, the galaxy that we're living in here. George Lucas also wanted it to be a lived-in galaxy. Star Trek, I think was, I don't know if Star Trek was around in 77 or not. I think it might have been. I think it was so. In the 60s.
I think it was before then, because that was a big deal with the characters of like Star Trek was like just humans, maybe with extra line on their nose, but Star Wars was just like, bring out the random heads, let's do this.
Yeah, 66 to 69 was the TV series originally. So this came out after that. But yeah, like you look at the, like you said, the special effects and the prosthetics and stuff that they had there. The alien was just somebody with just green paint on them, but there was nothing real big and special about it. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that was in Star Trek was, since it was on supposed to be like a Navy ship, like a military ship, everything was clean and spotless and perfect. And George Lucas really wanted it to be a lived-in feel. So even going back to Luke and him being, just a farm boy, when we see his moisture farm that he lives on in Tatooine, it's all run down, and you can tell that they're just scraping by. They're not, they're not wealthy by any means. Everything is all run down, and then you see the whole galaxy is that way. From the cantinas to the Millennium Falcon to everything that's not Empire is all, worn down a little bit and lived in. And that's what he really wanted, was a whole lived in feel to it. He didn't want everything to be perfect and brand new, which is what you got with Star Trek, was this perfect, brand new, beautiful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I do enjoy that. And that, like you said, it built the whole galaxy out of that. So,
Yep, gave it a whole theme. So, all right, next reason. This film, as tragic as it seems a lot of times, is all about optimism, is all about hope. It lives up to its feeling of it. And I think it's really good when you contrast this to episode 8, where it's kind of that same idea of like there's a lot of losing that's happening until eventually you get to a little bit of winning here and there. But they still never get to a hopeless point. And since it's like the whole theme of this rebellion in Star Wars as a whole, if you don't have that as the core at the beginning movie, you don't get that there. And I think that's one of the best reasons that they do this, is this is probably one of the best examples of a Star Wars movie about hope.
Yes. And even when you go into episode 5 ends on, if I may quote Clerks, on a downer. Like you don't know. Yeah, huge downer. You don't know what's going to happen. But at least at the end of A New Hope, they blow up the Death Star, spoiler alert, and, The what? And then they have a big celebration and everybody's happy because they won. So it's like, all right, good. So yeah, it does give you that hope that good will prevail over evil. I hope that life repeats art. All right, standalone story, underdog spirit. We talked about this a little bit. George Lucas was pushing the limits of technology and storytelling, and the scrappy, inventive energy behind the movie is still tangible. The daring spirit is part of what made it revolutionary. So not only was the underdog spirit in the movie that we saw, but it was also in the making of the movie as well. The just everybody from ILM all the way to when they were in the Redwood, they weren't in the Redwood Forest in episode 4, but anywhere that they went, they were just this madcap group of guys trying to just film something and make something happen here. So it's definitely all the way through. Do you have any left?
I do. I still have 3 more to go.
All right, let's hear them. Let's hear your last 3, because all of mine are pretty much done at this point.
Excellent. First is just the cultural impact that this film has. Beyond the screen, you can walk up to someone and say, "May the Force be with you," and they will know what you were talking about. They can understand that. And this was the film that started all of those kind of components to turn people into Star Wars nerds.
And how many people walk when you're going into a supermarket or a Walmart or something like that with the powered doors? How many people go like this and have the doors open and you feel like you're using the Force? So it all started with this.
Yep, absolutely. It's just those little iconic moments that just set the stage to really create that fandom and go through it. Next argument on my list, just like we blended genres, it blends tone really well. We get a really great mix of humor, serious, romance, catastrophe, conflict. Like, it all flows through. It's never jarring. It's never more awkward than it's supposed to be in terms of the scenes and the situations. But we get a very good emotional experience because of this movie.
Yes. And your last one is, drum roll.
No moment feels wasted. No matter how much you argue this is a slow film, and I've heard it from the 16, 17, 18-year-olds living with me a lot, and I get it. I get it. Like, it is, by today's standards, so dang slow. That pacing, like, I think even for the time, it's slow for the time as they're going through so many of these scenes. But everything has a purpose, and some of those slow scenes just make it better. Like you talked about the first scene with the Star Destroyer coming over the top. It just goes on and on forever. But I'm just trying to imagine being in that audience of just this endless ship going through for the first time. Like, I've never experienced anything like that. My gosh.
Like you gotta put yourself back in time, knowing that there's been other sci-fi movies before this, but nothing like this. And like you said, you see that opening crawl is the first time you've ever seen that. So right away you're like, what is this? You know, because it didn't have the technology that we have now where you can do it on your phone. You can make that opening crawl on your phone. But anytime anybody sees, even you do it yourself, you're like, this is the Star Wars intro. Like, that's what it is. It's always, you know, based off of that, you know. So you see that, and then you see the giant ship for the first time, and you're like, oh my goodness, this thing is enormous. And you're just trying to think in relatively to Earth. You're like, there's nothing that we have that is that big. Even the Spruce Goose, which was the biggest airplane of all time, I don't think it could even have flown because it was so big or whatever the deal was. But like that would fit inside the hangar bay of this ship. The ship is so big. And every once in a while I think, like, where did they get all the resources for this? Because that would take all the metal on Earth to make one of those ships. But that's what the Empire does, is they just, you know, destroy your planet because they need the materials, because they're evil that way. But yeah, even that,
want your stuff.
And my favorite was in Spaceballs, going back to Spaceballs again, when they made fun of that by having the Spaceball ship even longer, and dumber. Just like going on forever and ever and ever. And then at the end, it said like it had a bumper sticker on the back. I think it said "I break for nobody" or something like that. But it's
right,
just like it's just great that it was so iconic that Mel Brooks is like, watch this. I'm going to make a joke of this iconic scene. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I can't even imagine, like you said, being in the theater for the first time because I did not see it. I'm old, but I'm not that old, so I did not see this one in the theater. I don't remember seeing, but I remember going to Empire Strikes Back, and then I definitely remember Return of the Jedi. Yeah, I don't think I saw Star Wars at all in the movie theater because I would have been 4 at the time when it came out. So, yeah, I missed that, but it would have been amazing. And also, if you saw like the lines for the movie it was around buildings. It was the people were going and going and going 3 and 4 and 5 times, and this was like. I don't want to say it was the first movie that this happened, but it was definitely, if it wasn't the first, it was one of the earliest movies where people were like, I have to see it again, and I have to see it again. And constantly going, and the lines were wrapped around movie theaters for weeks for this movie.
Mm-hmm. So. This movie started the phenomenon, and that's why it's such a good argument to be the best Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Star Wars: A New Hope was in theaters an extended period, with the initial run lasting 43 weeks, 10 months in the United States after May 25th, 1977 release. Some sources even note individual theaters running the film for a full year. So that would never happen now. In today's standard, it's like 5 weeks out. It's already on streaming 5 weeks out. So the only way you could see this movie was in the theater, and the fact that it was there for 43 weeks, for 10 months is amazing. Yeah, I think that's awesome. So, I mean, I don't know if we were able to convince anybody or not that Star Wars: A New Hope is the ultimate Star Wars movie, but I think we did a pretty good job of trying to prove to you why Star Wars is New Hope is the best Star Wars movie of all time. I also think, like you said, it was pretty easy for us to prove this.
Easy to have a lot of arguments for this one. Mm-hmm. This is definitely one that started it off, and is good for us to start off this argument because now we've set a bar, and now we know what we have to reach for with our future ones. So
yeah, the future ones are going to be a little bit harder, but this one is definitely easy to prove. So, all right, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else that you want to add?
Not in terms of A New Hope being the best.
Okay. All right. Well, if you don't have anything, if you want to add anything else, now's your time.
I finished Black Spire as a book. Thought it was great start, okay finish, worth a read. I'm now trying to read Battlefront Twilight Company for the second time and having poor success on this one. For some reason, I just cannot get into this one at all. The characters aren't drawing me in. The story's not drawing me in. I'm trying.
I had one of those books also. I could not get through it. It was so bad. I was like, ugh. But yeah, it's a shame, especially when it's like a Star Wars book, because you really want to like enjoy it, and you're like, nah, it's not doing anything for me.
Yep.
So, well, more power to you. I haven't picked up my book. I'm also super busy with coaching and teaching and all that stuff that by the time I come home, I just want to veg out. And not that reading isn't vegging out. My wife she'll read 3 books a week. That's her vegging out, but my vegging out is playing dumb video games instead. So, I wind up picking that up instead of reading a book.
Gotta do it. Feels good.
Yeah, and I like the book that I'm reading. I just need to get through it now because, during the summer I sit outside and I enjoy reading outside in the sun. But now by the time I get home, the sun is setting and all that other good stuff, and I don't have time for it. So. Mm-hmm. All right, well, that's it for this week. I don't know if we're going to continue the why is this the greatest movie next week also. We might space it out a little bit and do some different things in between there. But we will get back to this. We have 10 more movies to go through to try and convince you that the other movies are actually the greatest Star Wars movies of all time. But I think this one's going to be tough to beat, because I think this one might actually really be the greatest Star Wars movie of all time. But who knows? We'll see. We'll prove us wrong. That's what we will do next time.
I'll have better arguments in the future. Don't you worry.
I love it. All right. Well, then, from all of us here at Bantha Milk Podcast, now in 2 different locations, but I'm going to say it first, and you can repeat after me. We have spoken.
We have spoken.